He says
the U.S. Secretary of State used the Sunday Public Affairs shows to repeat President Barack Obama's message to Vladimir Putin. Sending Russian troops into Ukraine is illegal.
You just don't invade another country on phony pretext in order to assert your interests.
But the U.S. doesn't think that sending in troops of its own is the right response. Instead, Washington and European nations are taking aim at things that matter to Moscow. For example, the G8 summit in Sochi. The U.S. has stopped its planning for the meetings and is hinting it might not attend at all. Canada, France, and Britain have taken the same approach. What else is on the table?
There could even be, ultimately, asset freezes, visa bans. There could be certainly a disruption of any of the normal trade routine. There could be business drawback on investment in the country. The ruble is already going down and feeling the impact of this.
Members of Congress are ready to draw up sanctions if that would resolve the crisis.
I think that Congress is going to have to play a very important role in this if we believe it's important to tone down the military options of civil war in the Ukraine.
The international community is gambling that Russian business interests will pressure Putin to think of the country's well-being and change course. But the British foreign minister says that doesn't wipe out the need for talks.
We will also continue to urge the Russians to speak directly to the Ukrainians through ministers, through military channels. They've so far not wanted to do that. I think we have to explore how they can speak to each other under the auspices of the United Nations or of the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe.
The crisis has NATO ambassadors meeting in Brussels and government leaders holding conference calls and strategy meetings. The goal, to prevent a show of military force inside Ukraine from turning into a war with Russia. Rosalind Jordan, Al Jazeera, Washington.